Welcome back. We're on part 3 of Oedipus. Once again, I'm Miss McClain.
I'm Miss Fry.
I'm Miss Murdoch.
Miss Murdoch's joining us today to help us finish some of this up. Some of you might have her second semester. So it's fitting that she's helping us out here. So, when we last left off, Oedipus and Jocasta were summoning the lone survivor of Oedipus's massacre of Laius's caravan.
Yes.
And he's supposed to tell him whether, what piece of information does he have to reveal?
Whether it was one guy or lots of guys.
Correct. Because if it's one guy, it's Oedipus. If it's lots of guys, then he had nothing to do with it. He just killed somebody else on the road, and it doesn't matter. Because it wasn't Laius.
Redbridge.
Yeah. Alright. Stage directions.
Enter Jocasta from the palace, carrying a succulent's branch wound in wool.
Lords of the realm, it occurred to me just now to visit the temples of the gods, so I have my branch in hand and incense too. Oedipus is beside himself, racked with anguish, no longer a man of sense. He won't admit the latest prophecies are hollow as the old. He's at the mercy of every passing voice, if the voice tells of terror. I urge him gently, nothing seems to help, so I turn to you, Apollo. You were the nearest.
Placing her branch on the altar, while an old herdsman enters from the side. Not the one just summoned by the king, but an unexpected messenger from Corinth.
Corinth, which is where Oedipus grew up. I come with prayers and offerings. I beg you, cleanse us, set us free of defilement. Look at us, passengers in the grip of fear, watching the pilot of the vessel go to pieces. So, just a minute ago, Jocasta told us that she believed in prophecies.
She believed they're not valid.
No.
Because she and her husband and family were able to get around the gods' prophecies.
Correct. And now, all of a sudden, we have Jocasta praying to a god of prophecy. So, what does this tell us about Jocasta's personality, state of mind? What do you think?
I think that we have a couple different options. I look at this as she just heard Oedipus say and proclaim for the first time that he was born to kill his dad and marry his mom. Her baby was born to kill his dad. Now, whether she knows the next piece about marrying the mom, we don't know. But she may have heard that first part, and even though she is not saying to Oedipus, ooh, I'm worried, she's praying now to the gods that she just said were not all-powerful.
Yeah. And, her husband was murdered too. Or, and how I see it, is that this is just kind of the hypocritical nature of humans. That when we're back against the wall, we're freaked out about something, we'll do anything. We'll turn to whatever, like she says, I turn to you because you are nearest, which isn't quite the ringing endorsement I'm sure Apollo wanted, but that's how she chose him. But I think it shows us really her worry about Oedipus. He is so broken up about this, he's so freaked out that she's worried he's going to do something kind of crazy.
Agreed. So the messenger, approaching Jocasta and the chorus.
Strangers, please, I wonder if you could lead us to the palace of the king. I think it's Oedipus. Better the man himself. You know where he is?
This is his palace, stranger. He's inside, but here is his queen, his wife and mother of his children.
Gross.
Blessings on you, noble queen, queen of Oedipus, crowned with all your family. Blessings on you always.
And the same to you, stranger. You deserve it. Such a greeting. But what have you come for? Have you brought us news?
Wonderful news. For the house, my lady, for your husband too.
Really? What? Who sent you?
Corinth, I'll give you a message in a moment. You'll be glad of it. How could you help it? Though it costs a little sorrow in the bargain.
What can it be with such a double edge?
The people there, they want to make your Oedipus king of Corinth. So they're saying now.
Why? Isn't old Polybus still in power?
No more. Death has got him in the tomb.
What? Are you saying Polybus dead? Dead?
If not, if I'm not telling the truth, strike me dead too.
To a servant.
Quickly, go to your master, tell him this. You prophecies of the gods, where are you now? This is the man that Oedipus feared for years. He fled him not to kill him, and now he's dead quite by chance, a normal, natural death, not murdered by his son. I always feel real bad for Polybus here, because everybody's really excited he's dead. Why is Jocasta so excited?
Well, because now Oedipus doesn't have to worry about ever killing him.
He didn't kill his dad, he just died. And you'll note, so Jocasta was 30 seconds prior praying to the gods. And now she's like, what now, gods? You don't even exist. So again, I think this is highlighting that fickle nature of humans. They just don't
things are going my way, I don't need to rely on anyone else.
Not at all. Alright, so Oedipus comes out.
Yep. Sorry, him talking to his wife Mom's always great. Dearest, what now? Why call me from the palace? Oh, bringing the messenger closer.
Listen to him. See for yourself what all those awful prophecies of God have come to.
Well, who is he? What can he have from me?
He's from Corinth. He's come to tell you that your father is no more. Polybus, he's dead.
What? Let me have it from your lips.
Not how you should tell someone their father. God. Never good.
Yeah,
Can't make me laugh.
Never good.
Okay,
She
sorry.
doesn't have corona.
I don't. We're good. I've been tested. Well, good God. Well, if that's what you want first, then here it is. Make no mistake. Polybus is dead and gone.
How? Murder? Sickness? What killed him?
A light tip of scales can put old bones to rest.
It's true.
Sickness then. Poor man. It wore him down.
That and the long count of years he's measured out.
So, Jocasta, why? Why look to the prophets, hark the fires of the future? Why scan the birds that scream above our heads? They winged me onto the murder of my father, did they? That was my doom? Well, look, he's dead and buried, hidden under the earth, and here I am in Thebes. I never put hand to sword unless some longing from me wasted him away. Then in a sense you'd say I caused his death. But now, all those prophecies I feared, Polybus packs them off to sleep with him in hell. They're nothing, worthless.
Again, I feel so bad for Polybus. Everybody's so excited.
excited he
They're
is.
so excited.
But it's not so much that he's excited that he's dead, he's excited that it wasn't me.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like,
It's-
now you know I didn't do it.
This is relief. Oedipus
Yes.
has spent his entire life struggling under this weight of the fear that he was going to kill his father, and now he found out his dad just died.
Absolutely.
I
Hey
love,
guys,
I love
he
that line
doesn't-
though, like it's like his wanting of me.
Yeah.
That's what killed him. How arrogant.
He's, well, that's very much the thing. But guys, please note that he's not actually thinking that Polybus went to hell as in he was a bad person.
Yeah.
He's Greek, so good, bad, ugly, they're all going to the same general place.
Yeah, there's just different levels.
Right.
I have a video about that, if you ever feel like looking at it in
There you go.
mythology. There. Didn't I tell you from the start?
So you did. I was lost in fear.
No more. Sweep it from your mind forever.
But my mother's bed. Surely I must fear.
Fear. What should a man fear? It's all chance. Chance rules our lives. Not a man on earth can see a day ahead, groping through the dark. Better to live at random, best we can. And as for this marriage with your mother, have no fear. Many a man before you in his dreams has shared his mother's bed. Take such things for shadows, nothing at all. Live, Oedipus, as if there's no tomorrow.
Someday we're going to talk to you, maybe a little bit later, about an interesting modern day psychologist who takes a handle on this whole men dreaming about their mothers.
True. So, gentlemen, we know you've all had dreams about your mothers, so thank you, Jocasta, for letting us know. But the big thing, the real big thing with Jocasta here, other than that gross argument that all dudes dream about banging their moms, is chance.
Yes.
Chance versus fate. Which is, I think, an existential question we ask ourselves. But I think in Oedipus, one definitely wins.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's fate. Definitely not chance. But we, I think, struggle with that question every day. Whether what we're doing
How
is...
much, how much of my life is predetermined and how much...
Correct. How much is self-determined. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But she's basically telling him, don't worry about that, Moby. You're married to me.
Yeah. Brave words. And you'd persuade me if mother weren't alive. But mother lives.
Yes.
So for all your reassurances, I live in fear. I must.
But your father's death, that at least is a great blessing. Joy to the eyes.
Great. I know, but I fear her. She's still alive.
Wait, who is this woman makes you so afraid?
Merope, old man, the wife of Polybus.
The queen? What's there to fear in her?
A dreadful prophecy, stranger, sent by the gods.
Tell me, could you? Unless it's forbidden for other ears to hear.
We've been talking about it.
He
for
tells
the past
everybody in 20 minutes.
Oh, not at all. Apollo told me once, it is my fate. I must make love with my own mother, shed my father's blood with my own hands. So for years I've given Corinth a wide berth, and it's been my good fortune too. But still, to see one's parents and look into their eyes is the greatest joy I know.
You're afraid of that? That kept you out of Corinth?
My father, old man, so I wouldn't kill my father.
So that's it. Well then, seeing I came with such goodwill, my king, why don't I rid you of that old worry now?
What a rich reward you'd have for that.
What do you think I can come for, Majesty? So you'd come home and I'd be better off?
Never. I will never go near my parents.
Sorry.
It's okay.
No, I lost where it was.
My boy, it's clear. 11:05.
My boy, it's clear. You don't know what you're doing.
What do you mean, old man? For God's sake, explain.
If you ran from them, always dodging home,
Always terrified Apollo's oracle might come true.
and you'd be covered with guilt from both your parents.
That's right, old man. That fear is always with me.
Don't you know? You've really nothing to fear.
But why? If I'm their son, Merope, Polybus.
Polybus was nothing to you, that's why. Not in blood.
What are you saying? Polybus was not my father?
No more than I am. He and I are equals.
My father! How can my father equal nothing? You're nothing to me!
Neither was he. No more your father than I am.
Well, then why did he call me a son?
You were a gift years ago. Know for a fact he took you from my hands.
Alright, so the messenger thinks he's brought good news.
He's so helpful.
You don't have to worry about, having sex with Merope because she's not even your mom.
Exactly.
I found you and I gave you to them. So, this messenger just happens to be who from the Theban legend?
This is the very guy who took Oedipus when his ankles were all busted and he was in need of help. He was the one who took them to the king and queen. So guys, if everybody in Corinth knew that Oedipus was adopted, everybody knew that the king and queen had not biologically had that baby. If any other person had shown up today and looked at Oedipus and said, hey, they're not your real parents, Oedipus would have said, you just heard that from somewhere, you cannot prove it, of course they were my parents. He cannot say that to this one single individual.
Yeah.
Because this is the guy who delivered him.
Absolutely.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that is a problem.
Eek. No. From another's hands? Well, then how could he love me so? He loved me deeply.
True, in his early years without a child made him love you all the more.
And did you find me by accident?
I stumbled on you down the woody flanks of Mount Citharon.
So close. What were you doing here? Just passing through?
Watching over my flocks, grazing them on the slopes.
A herdsman were you, a vagabond scraping for wages?
Your savior too, my son, in your worst hour.
Oh, when you picked me up, was I in pain? What exactly?
Your ankles, they tell the story. Look at them.
Why remind me of that old affliction?
Your ankles were pinned together. I set you free.
Dreadful mark. I've had it from the cradle.
And you got your name from that misfortune too. The name's still with you.
Dear God, who did it? Mother, father, tell me.
I don't know. The one who gave you to me, he'd know more.
What? You took me from someone else? You didn't find me yourself?
No, sir. Another shepherd passed you on to me.
Who? Do you know? Describe him.
He called himself a servant of, if I remember rightly, Laius?
Jocasta turned sharply. These are the stage directions. Yeah. It says Jocasta turned sharply.
No.
Why is Jocasta doing that? She knows. Yeah, so...
Because if you notice, Ms. McLean hasn't said anything for a couple pages.
Yeah.
She was just taking it all in, just listening and piecing stuff together.
When he reveals that a servant of Laius gave this guy a baby, she knows her baby was taken into the woods to die of exposure. So now Jocasta knows everything. She knows that Oedipus killed Laius, she knows that she has married her son, and that all of them have fulfilled their prophecies, which probably makes her feel a little sheepish for all that crowing earlier.
That's exactly right. And then Oedipus is going to ask a silly question. At this point in history, names were very, very unique. So the idea that the question that he asked is going to be quite silly.
Yeah.
The king of the land who ruled here long ago? It's the only Laius.
Yeah.
That's the one. The herdsman was his name.
Is he still alive? Can I see him?
They'd know best, the people of these parts.
Oedipus and the messenger turn to the chorus. Alright. Does anyone know that herdsman, the one he mentioned? Anyone seen him in the fields here in the city? Out with it! The time has come to reveal this once for all.
I think he's the very shepherd you wanted to see a moment ago, but the queen, Jocasta, she's the one to say.
Jocasta? You remember the man we just sent for? Is that the one he means?
So, I always find it funny that this whole play is like so tiny, right? The messenger that happens to come from Corinth to tell him about Polybus' death is also the messenger that just happened to have given Oedipus to the king and queen in the first place.
Yes.
And the one guy who managed to survive the raid on Laius' caravan just happened to be the very guard at the beginning of the Theban legend whose job was to kill Oedipus.
And he didn't.
And he didn't.
No coincidence.
Yeah, lots of coincidences. That man, why ask old shepherd talk? Empty nonsense. Don't give it another thought. Don't even think.
What? Give up now? With a clue like this? Fail to solve the mystery of my birth? Not for all the world.
Stop. In the name of God, if you love your own life, call off this search. My suffering is enough.
Courage. Even if my mother turns out to be a slave and I a slave 3 generations back, you would not seem common.
Oh no, listen to me. I beg you, don't do this.
Listen to you? No more. I must know it all, must see the truth at last.
No, please, for your sake. I want the best for you.
Your best is more than I can bear.
You're doomed. May you never fathom who you are.
To a servant. Hurry, fetch me the herdsman now. Leave her to glory in her royal birth.
Oh, man of agony, that is the only name I have for you. That no other, ever, ever, ever.
Flinging through the palace doors, a long, tense silence follows.
So, if you remember the 7 characteristics of Greek drama, what happens off stage?
Death and violence.
Yes. So the fact that Jocasta has just realized horrible things about herself and has run off stage does not bode well. So that we know if and when she comes back, something terrible will happen in the interim.
Probably so.
So why does Jocasta not tell him? Because she clearly knows. She wants him to stop. Why? Why not just tell him?
Well, the same reason that I protect my kids from really bad news.
Yeah. And so so she says, my suffering is enough. I think Jocasta means to live with this and keep it from him for the rest of her life, which would be horrifying. So again, it shows you the willingness to sacrifice that parents have for their children, which I think is definitely here. Why does Oedipus think she's upset? I always thought this was funny.
It's like they're in 2 different worlds. She knows the truth. He is looking at this as if she, this almighty queen, may be married to the product of a king and some servant from the palace. He is completely oblivious to the most obvious possibility of his mother.
Yeah.
He cannot see it.
Yeah, he doesn't even cross his mind.
He doesn't want to, I think, though.
Oh, definitely.
Wants
No, nobody would want that. Yeah, but it's
You'd think he'd be a little bit more worried after he figured out the guy who he always thought it was his dad wasn't his dad. One would think that he murdered someone.
Of course, he was told that your curse is to kill somebody and marry somebody. If my curse is to kill somebody and marry somebody, I think that I would become a monk.
Yeah.
Not gonna kill, not gonna marry.
No,
Problem solved.
just hang out.
There you go.
Do nothing. Alright. Where's she gone, Oedipus? Rushing off such wild grief. I'm afraid that from this silence something monstrous may come bursting forth.
Oh, let it burst. Whatever will, whatever must, I must know my birth, no matter how common it may be. I must see my origins face to face. She with her woman's pride, may well be mortified by my birth, but I count myself the son of chance, the great goddess, giver of all good things. I'll never see myself disgraced. She is my mother, and the moons have marked me out, my blood brothers, one moon on the wane, the next moon great with power. That is my blood, my nature. I will never betray it, never fail to search and learn my birth.
So Oedipus thinks that he is a product of a pretty common Greek thing, which is that he's the son of a god, which is what he jumps to immediately. He's like, oh, I was a foundling,
makes sense.
definitely a demigod, which was, to be fair, was pretty common. If you did great things in your life, chances are you probably weren't born of 2 mortal parents, most of the time. The fact that he was a foundling makes him think that much more, that he was, because that happened all the time. Gods would have babies, leave them in the woods, they'd get raised by wolves, and then they would found Rome. You know, like that kind of stuff happens.
Right.
So the chorus in this part that we're going to summarize is really excited because they think again that their king is a demigod. So yeah, they said, "Who was your mother? Some bride of Apollo, or was it Hermes, or was it Dionysus?" Like they're just trying to figure out what god was it that spawned this amazing man, and it wasn't. It was just too normal.
I'm going to also throw this out there because I'm a little bit more cynical. The chorus has been in front of the palace steps listening to the testimony of every single person that's come to the stage the entire play. They listened to the argument with Tiresias, they listened to the shepherd, they listened to the messenger, we're going to listen to the shepherd here in just a second. They listened to Jocasta and Oedipus talk about each other. I think it's also possible that maybe they have pieced together a little bit more than he has, but they are walking down this road of denial with him. They're like, they're encouraging him and fluffing him and allowing him.
Yeah, that is also definitely possible. I never thought of it that way.
All right, so Oedipus strains to see a figure coming from the distance, attended by palace guards. An old shepherd enters slowly, reluctant to approach the king. Well, I never met the man, my friends. Still, if I had to guess, I'd say that's the shepherd, the very one we've looked for all along. Brothers in old age, two of a kind, he and our guest here. At any rate, the ones who bring him in are my own men. I recognize them. To the leader. But you know more than I. You should. You've seen the man before.
I know him definitely. One of Laius' men, a trusty shepherd if there ever was one.
You. I ask you first, stranger, you from Corinth. Is this the one you mean?
You're looking at him. He's your man.
Okay, so to the shepherd. You, old man, come over here. Look at me. Answer all my questions. Did you ever serve King Laius?
So I did. A slave. Not bought on the block, though. Born and reared in the palace.
Okay, your duties, your kind of work.
Herding the flocks, the better part of my life.
Where, mostly? Where did you do your grazing?
Well, Citharon sometimes, or the foothills roundabout.
Well, this man, you know him? Ever seen him there? A confused glancing from the messenger to me.
Doing what? What man do you mean?
This one here ever have dealings with him?
Not so I could say, but give me a chance. My memory is bad.
No wonder he doesn't know me, master. But let me refresh his memory for him. I'm sure he recalls old times we had on the slopes of Mount Citharon. He and I grazing our flocks, he with two and I with one. We both struck up together 3 whole seasons, 6 months at a stretch from spring to the rising of Arcturus, that was close, in the fall. And then with winter coming, I'd drive my herds to my own pens, and back he'd go with his to Laius' fields.
To the shepherd.
Now, that's how it was, wasn't it? Yes or no?
Yes, I suppose. It's all so long ago. So, why is our shepherd being all squirrely?
Would you want to go? The last time that you saw Oedipus, the last time that he saw the king, I was knee-deep in murdering a bunch of people.
No, to be fair, the last time I saw him,
king.
you were king.
I was
right after knee-deep murdering.
Right after all of that. So, with that being your history and your knowledge of me, it's no wonder he doesn't want to talk.
Once again, that helpful messenger.
He's
just
great.
ready to lend a hand.
I tell you.
Alright, go ahead.
Come, tell me. You gave me a child back then, a boy. Remember? Little fellow to rear, my very own.
What? Why bring that up again?
Look, here he is, my fine old friend, the same man who was just a baby then.
Damn you, shut your mouth, quiet.
Don't lash out at him, old man. You need lashing more than he does.
Why? Master Majesty, what have I done wrong?
You won't answer his question about the boy.
He's talking nonsense, wasting his breath.
So you won't talk willingly? Then you'll talk with pain.
Oedipus goes to torture really fast. Like almost immediately. So the messenger, again, thinks he's bringing good news. He's like, look, this kid that we saved, he's a king now. Don't you feel
so
great
about
about
the
it?
wonderful things we did.
Look at all the great stuff.
You're so helpful.
It's true. And actually, with that, the messenger's part is over. So Miss Murdoch is going to leave us. Yeah. So he turns to torture really, really quickly, which I think reveals a lot about Oedipus' personality again.
Absolutely.
Rash and impetuous nature, quick to anger, all those things that have been a problem for him in the past.
Yes.
All right. No, dear God, don't torture an old man.
Twist his arms back quickly.
God help us, why? What more do you need to know?
Did you give him that child? He's asking.
I did. I wish to God I died that day.
You've got your wish if you don't tell the truth.
The more I tell, the worse the death I'll die.
Our friend here wants to stretch things out, does he? As I motion to the men for torture.
What do you think that looks like?
I think it's pretty. I don't know. He probably just
Gestures.
Yeah. I think the tone of his voice.
I just feel like I wouldn't know if I was one of the guards, but
It's like have we unless they do this a lot.
that's fair.
Okay.
Want me to do what?
1, 2, or 3. Just kidding.
No, I gave it to him. I just said so.
Where did you get it? Your house? Someone else's?
It wasn't mine. No, I got it from someone.
Which one of them? Looking at the citizens. Whose house?
No, God's sake, Master, no more questions.
You're a dead man if I have to ask again.
Then the child came from the house of Laius.
A slave? Or born of his own blood?
Oh no, I'm right at the edge of the horrible truth. I've got to say it.
And I'm at the edge of hearing horrors, yes, but I must hear.
All right, his son. They said it was his son. But the one inside, your wife, she'd tell it best.
My wife? She gave it to you?
Yes, my king.
Why? What for?
To kill it.
Her own child! How could she?
She was afraid, frightening prophecies.
What?
They said he'd kill his parents.
But you gave him to this old man. Why?
I pitied the little baby master, hoped he'd take off to his own country far away, but he saved him for this fate. If you are the man he says you are, believe me, you were born for pain.
Oh God. All come true. All burst to light. Oh light, now let me look my last on you. I stand revealed at last, cursed in my birth, cursed in marriage, cursed in the lives I cut down with these hands.
Rushing through the doors with a great cry, the Corinthian messenger, the shepherd, and attendants exit slowly to the side, leaving just the chorus on stage. So, the chorus is freaked out.
Wouldn't you be?
Because, their two most important leaders both just ran off stage after horrible revelations.
At the very least, he knows now.
He does. Yeah, Oedipus knows everything. And so does Jocasta. And so does all of these.
And someday, we're going to talk about the fact that 4 very important individuals have been inside the palace for the entirety of the play, and they know nothing yet.
Oh, yeah.
And those would be his kids.
Oedipus's children, yeah. Antigone, Mene, Polynices, and Eteocles, the boys. So, once again, we see the chorus kind of taken about face, right? So, about a minute ago, they were glorying in Oedipus's potentially divine birth. And now they're basically just saying that we're just all gonna die. And everything sucks, basically. And one of the things I think that they're most interested with Oedipus is the kind of dichotomy of his whole personality. They said, you outranged all men, bending your bow to the breaking point, you captured priceless glory, right? You did all of these amazing things, and you're a man of misery, of torment, that is hated by the gods. So it's like, if all of these things are possible, then you can never really know what life is going to be like. And they're sad. They're upset for him because they.
Absolutely.
And now all of a sudden, terrible things happen. And again, as we talked about, when characters run off stage, it's not good.
It's not good.
So when we come back, we'll see how Oedipus deals with learning the truth about his birth.
Absolutely.
It's not well. Not well at all.